Hey everybody, thanks again for checking in. So I was sitting here drinking and I thought of some more You Don't Know Jack, stuff you don't need to know, and I felt compelled to share it with you. So sit back, get a drink, and let's learn some useless information that will get you nowhere in life. You can't even win a bet in a bar thanks to phones and Google and Wikipedia with this information, but share it I must. Did you know that President Richard Nixon, yes, Richard Milhouse Nixon, is actually an accomplished musician? He could play five instruments. The piano, the saxophone, clarinet, which is kind of the same thing, a sax and a clarinet, the violin, and an accordion. He could play all those. Pretty amazing. What else do I have? Well, this glass is sweat. What else do I have? The Olympics. Yes, those Olympics. 1912 to 1948, they used to hand out medals in art. Yes, gold, silver, bronze for literature. What else? Literature, sculpture, architecture. Did I say sculpture? Painting and music. I think that's all of them. From 1912 to 1948, eventually that obviously faded away, and we all focus now on curling, which is awesome, by the way. You need to watch curling during the Olympics. The next time it comes up here in a couple years, check it out. It's amazing. Did you know that cowboys did not actually wear cowboy hats, at least in the 19th century? They wore bowlers. Bowlers, not cowboy hats. I don't know what else. Did you know that Cleopatra, not Egyptian, that chick was a Greek. She's actually a descendant of Alexander the Great's Macedonian general Ptolemy. Not Egyptian. Who knew? Well, I did. Now you do. Did you know that President Clinton actually once lost the launch codes, or at least the personal ID to launch the launches, to get to the launch codes? Not for like hours, for months. Months. Did you know a Bloody Mary wasn't always called a Bloody Mary? I think it started life as a bucket of blood and then moved to a red snapper before it became a Bloody Mary. And obviously Bloody Mary is vodka, and I believe Bloody Maria is, what is that? That's tequila. What are some other useless sort of facts? Paul Revere. We all know the midnight ride of Paul Revere. The British are coming, the British are coming. Didn't happen. The first problem you have is back then, American colonists considered themselves British. So he wouldn't have yelled, the British are coming. At best, he would have yelled, we're coming, which seems nonsensical. Plus, he never actually made the ride, he got caught. But it doesn't matter, it's a good story. But when you think about it, why would you yell, the British are coming, if you consider yourself British? So, dead on that one. Betsy Ross, designed and sewed up the flag. Not true. It was actually this cat named Francis Hopkins that designed the flag. And he was actually one of the original signers of the Declaration of Independence. And he also helped do a number of our seals that we still use today. Betsy Ross didn't do anything other than being married to Mr. Ross. What else do I have? Well, since we're talking about Betsy Ross, Independence Day, July the 4th, not really happening. July the 4th didn't happen. The Second Continental Congress, it was on July the 2nd that they voted to approve the resolution for the Declaration of Independence, and most of those cats didn't even sign it till August. So July the 4th was just a day that was eventually picked. I don't know why. Did you know there were over 600 plots to kill Fidel Castro? Castro, the cat that ran Cuba for such a long time. Yep, over 600, from exploding cigars to poisoned, what do you call them, dive suits. Did you know that Captain Morgan, the rum guy, no, this isn't rum, but the rum guy, he actually existed, I think from 1660 to, I don't know, 1670 something. I think he officially died in like 1688, but his first name was Henry. Henry Morgan, real guy, pirate, the whole bit. Kind of cool. Did you know that John Adams was the first president to actually live in the White House? John Adams. Kind of interesting. Oh, what else do we have? Forks. You know, forks, the stuff we used to eat, invented in the 11th century by the Italians. It was actually considered sacrilegious by churches to use forks at that time. Apparently God frowned upon us using artificial limbs to feed ourselves. So it must really suck today for people that have had some limbs lost, and we put prosthetics on. But anyway, in the 11th century, forks were a no-no, banned by the church. What can you do? Did you know that Napoleon Bonaparte, that Napoleon, he was actually once attacked by a horde of rabbits, like 3,000 rabbits. As the story goes, I don't know, one of his buddies, they decided they're gonna do a rabbit hunt, and this cat got like 3,000 rabbits, and you know, Napoleon and all his buddies are gonna go, I guess, shoot these animals, and this guy wanted to make sure they didn't miss. But when they opened the cages, the rabbits sort of turned on him and attacked Napoleon and his buddies. 3,000 rabbits, kind of funny. Oh, what else do we have? Did you know that turkeys were once worshipped as gods by the Mayan Empire in, when was that? Shit, that was a long time ago. But they were once worshipped by the Mayan people, and you can see turkeys in a lot of their drawings and sculptures in the ruins and whatnot. What else do I have? Oh, the first person on the dollar bill, not George Washington. It was actually a cat named Salmon Chase. He was the first Secretary of the Treasury, and that was in 1820, I don't remember, when was that, 1862, 1861, somewhere in there. Did you know that George Washington, after he was president, he actually opened a distillery and sold a pant load of liquor? And speaking of that, Abraham Lincoln was once a bartender and owned a bar with a cat named Barry. It was called the Barry and Lincoln Bar, presumably, but apparently Barry was a fierce alcoholic and drank the inventory, so the bar didn't last very long. Kind of interesting. Well, we all know that, did I mention that Lincoln was in the Wrestling Hall of Fame? I can't remember. He actually had 300 matches and only lost one, so he's 299-1. Kind of interesting. So he was a wrestler, a lawyer, a bartender, and president of the United States. Pretty amazing. Talk about a full life. Cut a little short, but a full life just the same. We all know or think that Edison invented the light bulb. Not true. It's this cat named De La Rue. I think William De La Rue or Warren De La Rue. I don't remember. I think Warren De La Rue. 40 years before Edison. Edison's got like over 1,000, maybe 1,100 patents assigned to him. Most of them were stolen. But the light bulb, at least its original incarnation, a British guy about 40 years before Edison. Now, Edison certainly perfected the light bulb. Kept it burning longer than a few seconds, but he didn't invent it. Did not invent it. Didn't happen. Did you know in 1908, for a brief period, it was illegal and punishable by a fine or jail time for a woman to smoke in public? It was called the Sullivan Ordinance, or it wasn't the Sullivan Act, Sullivan Ordinance. Did you know that here in the United States, back during Prohibition, the government actually poisoned alcohol, and it's estimated by the time Prohibition ended in 1933, over 10,000 people had died from ingesting poison. brought to you by the U.S. government. Pretty crazy. Did you know, I think it was Pope Gregory the IV, I think this is the 13th century, he's the guy that decided to declare war on cats, and he decided that black cats were somehow instruments of Satan. So he had countless number of cats killed. But this genius, it sort of ended up backfiring because of the plague. With no cats, the rat population took off. Anyway, do I have any others? I think that might be it. Is that everything? Talked about turkeys. Oh, did you know that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson actually died on the same day? July the 4th, 1822, I think? 1822? I don't remember. 1820. Well, we're going to go with 1822. I think that's everything. Anyway, I've been drinking. I thought I'd share, a couple more things popped into my head. I hope you get a kick out of these. I get a kick out of making them. Remember, in this world, when you could be, I really got to get coasters. In this world, when you could be anything you want to be, you be kind, you be humble, you be forgiving, you be melting snow, and remember, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Take care. Bye.